Hello and welcome to my presentation about fashion. In my presentation I've taken two of the themes from our topic, so I'll be looking at subcultures, but I'll also be looking at colour. I chose two because I wasn't sure how many people would actually identify with a fashion subculture. So I thought I'd better have colour as well for a bit of variety. So the presentation will be in two parts. First, let's look at the fashion subculture. Here are some of the questions that I asked. I wanted to know what favourite accessory or piece of clothing people remembered from when they were younger. And I asked this question because I thought it would link with this one if they had ever identified with a fashion subculture. Because my prediction was that more people would have identified with one when they were younger as opposed to now, if they did at all. So then I wanted to know which fashion subculture, and then because it's not just about fashion, I wanted to know if they also identified with the music or a hobby or something like this. So I thought that music would be the most common response. The respondents to the entire survey were just my friends on Facebook. So from that, we can know that it was a mixture of British and other nationalities. They were all over 18, a mixture of men and women, and 31 people in total. But I forgot to ask for any personal information, so I don't know if it was a male answering or a woman answering or how old they were to be able to compare that way, unfortunately. So here's question one. 100% of people could remember their favourite item of clothing. However, because this was all asked online, people gave varying degrees of detail about their item of clothing. For example, one person just said shoes. I don't know what type of shoes, what colour, or anything like that. Someone said a coat. What kind of coat? So I wish I'd asked face to face so that I could have got a bit more information about this kind of thing. As you can see, over 60% of people have never identified with a fashion subculture. And those that did, most of them, it was when I was younger, when they were younger. Which is what I predicted. There was a big range of subcultures. Turns out my friends are quite an alternative lot. So here are all the subcultures that they said, and perhaps you might use these in your research for your own presentation. The question about other aspects of subcultures was open, so they could give as many ideas as they wanted. So my examples were music and skateboarding. And as you can see, 10 people answered the music was also important to them. But here were three new categories that I hadn't thought of: art, outlook, and dance. And I think, to be honest, that if I'd included outlook as an example in the question, more people would have agreed with this. So that could be something for next time. So now we're moving on to colour. I wanted to know what types of colours people wear. And moving on from that to know if the colours they wear connect with their mood in any way, or if there's another factor that makes people choose what colours they wear. So this graph shows that for the people in the lightly coloured bars, for them colour was not important to them. When they woke up in the morning feeling sad, they didn't choose a particular colour for that. The people in the dark bars, they did choose a colour dependent on their mood. So really, it's basically a 50-50 split. So in my next slide, I've taken out the people that don't match a colour to their mood and just looked at the people that do. So as you can see, when people feel happy, the most common colour is yellow, which I think matches with what you will see in the readings this week. When people relaxed, blues are the highest, which I believe also matches. If people feel sad, black is far and away the most popular answer. Maybe this one was a bit of a surprise, because red apparently signifies confidence. And black can also signify feeling nervous. So black, sad and nervous. The final question was about what impacts the colours you wear. So mood, although it was the second most chosen answer, it wasn't the highest. The weather was the most common, with 18 people saying the weather affects the colour they choose to wear the most. Other options were the image I want to present, the activity I'll be doing, and actually only one person said nothing impacts my colour choice. So there are other important factors, even if mood is not one of them. So if I was to do this survey again, I would make sure to get personal information from the respondents. I would definitely ask my questions face to face so that I could get as much detail as possible from my respondents. And I might think about other topics, because there's so many to choose from. Possibilities include tattoos, piercings and body modification, shopping habits, use of colour in marketing. So many options that you can choose for this topic. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
Wow.
That was so informative. I don't think I've got any questions. Go on,
I
Alex.
have a question.
Yes.
Did you explain what subcultures meant to the people who were answering the questionnaire,
gave-
or do you...
I gave one example.
Uh-huh.
I said, did you identify with a fashion subculture? For example, punk.
Oh, okay.
So there was one example.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that helped people to
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, definitely. But I think because I had such a range of answers,
Yeah.
people at least the British people who answered the questionnaire, I think understood.
What was the most surprising result for you? Out of all of it?
This page was surprising because I didn't have any repeats.
Wow.
So everyone was part of a different subculture, even though there was I think a lot of people who answered knew each other and me, but were all identified with different groups. I'm not sure what else was surprising. Maybe not surprising, but I did like this finding that people group together according to their outlook, and their subculture they choose reflects their outlook on life instead.
Although you didn't kind of get any information about it, in your opinion, why do you think people kind of grow out of their subcultures?
That would be a good question for next time.
Mm.
I'm not sure what my prediction on that would be. I suppose. Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you have any ideas?
I guess pressure to conform builds or gets bigger as you get
Career.
older, or you kind of compromise a bit, or
Yeah.
you a bit more looking for consensus perhaps rather than trying to rebel.
Yeah.
I think it's about that rebellious nature in teenagers, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Maybe have less time.
Maybe have less time because it does take commitment,
Yes.
doesn't it?
Yeah,
Parts of
you have to
subculture,
get dressed, go shopping.
And you have to get a job, and sometimes,
Yeah.
You've got
Sometimes you have to
family.
wear a suit to work.
Hey!
or take out your earrings or whatever. it is.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I mean, I used to wear the earrings and have long hair and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then teaching, abroad where teachers are supposed to be really respectable. It kind of like I felt a bit pressured to sort of conform to their idea of what a teacher was.
Yeah.
I could have got away with it here, but not in Thailand, for example, where you're supposed to be like super kind of like
Wear a suit.
respectable and maybe not wear a suit, but be very kind of like. In Thai society, there are monks and then there are teachers. It's like you're that respected, so you've got to be like respectable.
Gosh. It would have been interesting. Oh, I've got a question.
Yes.
Did you think about going to any shops, like where it's like any particular fashion shops, to ask people there?
I didn't think about it, but it could be interesting. I think with time constraints, my focus group was maybe a little bit lazy, and it would have been better to have had more of a range of... Because although I had different respondents, like my parents' generation and my generation, I wasn't able to compare them, and I wasn't able to look at people outside of my friendship group or acquaintances.
I have one last question
Yes.
from me. Which subculture were you part of when you were younger?
I don't...
Oh, why? Sorry, why are you? What's the question? Why?
Well, where are you part of a subculture?
Yeah, why are you part?
yeah.
Did you identify with us?
Identified with? I suppose at the time I identified with grunge subculture, because I had like the dark baggy hoodie. My favourite accessory was like metal spikes and studs.
Right, okay. Did you cry when Kurt Cobain died?
I was a bit too
A
young,
bit too young.
so I guess I was revival grunge.
Top stuff.
Good.